Hello, I'm Richard, and welcome back to Over and Over and Over Again, my channel, which features everything to do with Arsenal. This is a very special show tonight, a preview of the Leicester game, of course, on Sunday. And joining me, I've got a very special guest. So see you in 2 seconds. Hello, Eddie. It's Richard back on Over and Over and Over Again. This is a very special show, preview of the Leicester City game on Sunday. And joining me tonight is a very special guest I've got. It's Jamie from Leicester Fan TV. How you doing, mate? You all right?
How are you, Richard? How's it going? Are you all good? Hope you're well.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Just about got over last night's drama in our Europa League game. You had a slightly more comfortable victory than us, but we both won.
It looked a bit wet. Looked a bit wet and windy in Austria yesterday, was it? Was that causing you a few problems?
Well, I don't know if it was so much that caused us problems. I think maybe our sort of approach to the game did, perhaps. You know, I thought we was a little bit too passive with it, really, as though it seems to be a theme, and I'm sure you'll see it on Sunday as well. We seem to be setting out not to lose the games initially, rather than trying to win them early on and staying in the game, and then maybe later on creating the chances to win, which I think has been a risky policy. We've got away with it up till now, and we got away with it last night, but it's probably not how I want us to do it, really. I'd much prefer if we, played more, maybe like traditionally that Arsenal used to play, maybe, taking the game to the opposition and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a transition. I know we're still a work in progress, really, and we shouldn't really grumble because we won the game and we're winning. So that's what it's all about, isn't it?
You say play the Arsenal way. Does that mean the Steve Bold and Tony Adams offside? Is that how you do it nowadays? Or
well, we've kind of evolved a little bit from that, but to be honest with you, actually, funnily enough, you say that. I mean, watching Arsenal this season, it's been more like the old Jules Graham days, actually. Very tight games. We're not conceding as many goals, and we may be nicking the games by the odd goal, which is good way you keep winning. But at this moment in time, I'm not comfortable with the way that we're playing, because I don't think it's going to last. We can get results every so often, but you're not going to be able to stay playing like that. I think you need to dominate games more, I believe, especially if you want to compete at the top end of the league, which is what we're hoping to do, obviously. I mean, in terms of you guys, obviously, you've had a good start. I mean, I wanted to actually talk about your away form, because away from home this season, you've been impressive. That Man City win particularly was, a great performance. But at home, you seem to be struggling, don't you? I mean, I know we won there in the cup, but I mean, you haven't scored in your last 2 games at home, and yet away from home, you're flying. What do you think the difference is?
Actually, with the cup, it's 3 games at home. Until last night, that was the 3rd game we hadn't scored in until last night when we got 3. But you're saying the away form, the win against West Brom, the first game of the season, looked like it was going to be a bit of a dodgy game. Team coming up from the Championship, you think, yeah, they've got something to prove. And we thought, well, that's going to be a bit of a dodgy game. But that was our first win since New Year's Day, the 1st of January, 2020, against Newcastle. That was our first win. So I'm not sure how many. I've lost track because of the restart. I can't remember how many games it is now. So it's taken us 8 months to win an away game. So, and then away form's picked up this year. Like, we beat Man City. According to Man City, we were lucky to beat Man City because we had 3 penalties. If you're making rash tackles like that in the penalty box, there's a chance the player goes down. There's a chance the referee's going to give it. So we weren't that lucky. But yeah, the away form has been pretty good. We've won 2 out of 2. The home form, we lost to. We beat Burnley, and then we lost to West Ham, which was everyone was so confident. Everyone was so confident. I mean, that was the first time we'd ever won the first 3 games in the top flight for 98 years. We'd never done that before, and we'd never ever won the first 4 games ever in the 136 years, 36, 37 years we've been going. So, and then to lose against West Ham, we just don't know. We were so disjointed. Passes were going here, there, and other way, and same against Villa as well. We should have got a point out of it. We didn't make many chances. Neither side made many chances, really. But you could see that it was going to be a 1 goal. And I said in one of our chats on Leicester Fan TV a few weeks ago, I wouldn't mind having Ross Barkley with us. And it's proved a point. Ross Barkley is a good player for Villa. But our form is a bit iffy at the minute. It's typical Leicester, though. We have a few good weeks, we play well, and then we sort of drop off a bit. So hopefully Sunday. We've played Sunday every week this year. We've not played a Saturday game yet. Every game's been on Sunday. Every single game.
And of course, with the Europa League, it's going to be more now as well, isn't it? Because obviously Europa League Thursday, it's always going to be Sunday or Monday, isn't it?
Well, next week
we've got the same problem. So
next week we've got AEK Athens on the Thursday night, and then we've got Leeds on the Monday night. So for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're playing Thursday, Saturday. I wish it was Saturday. Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. We're just playing twice a week. It's going to be a nightmare. It really is. But it's a good nightmare, though, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of used to it now with the Thursday night. It's our 4th season in the Europa League. So at first it was a bit awkward, I suppose, but I've got used to it. I actually don't mind it now. You know, I'm used to us playing on a Thursday and on a Sunday. And I suppose at the moment, without the worry of having to actually go to the games physically, I guess it's doesn't really matter too much when the games are, does it, necessarily to the same degree as it used to. You know, you didn't used to like an 8 o'clock Monday night game away from home when you got the travel involved, whereas now if we play away from home on a Monday night 8 o'clock, it's not the end of the world, is it? In fact, sometimes it's better.
Finish work, cup of tea, feet up.
Yeah, so you know, in that way, it's not necessarily such a bad thing. But that's kind of moving on a little bit to the next topic I wanted to talk to you about, which is, of course, the pay-per-view. Now, you've been stung 2 weeks in a row, haven't you? And I don't know if you've got any more coming up. I mean, this is our first one. This Sunday is our first pay-per-view game. I'm assuming we're going to have a few more coming up. I think maybe the Man United game next week might be as well. I mean, what you're making of this is ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely stupid. It's just another money-making scheme by Sky to pay all that. If you've got a Sky subscription and you've got a BT Sport subscription, it's about 80 quid, 85 quid a month now. I've lost track being out because I've lived in Spain for about 16 years, so I've lost track exactly how much it is nowadays in English money. So you're paying a fortune, and then you've got to pay an extra 15 notes to start all over again and watch your team play. I think it's absolute embarrassment. But what we've started doing through Leicester Fan TV is we've started up not a charity, but there's 2 charities we're promoting. Memphis Christmas Gifts, which gives you, we're trying to find 500 gifts for kids, disabled kids and young children, disadvantaged children, and they want 500 gifts. So they're trying to get them to donate the £15 that you would pay for Sky or BT, whichever it's on, to donate for them to help them out, or it's going towards our Beacheye Foundation, the chairman, because his second anniversary is next week. So we're trying to get them to put the £15 towards that. So we're trying to get it to go to good causes in Leicester. I've noticed, I think Newcastle are doing the same thing. I think that's food banks. I think they're doing it for one of the charities. I think Burnley are doing something as well. So, yeah, it's easy enough. Let's just boycott it. Give you 15 quid that you were going to spend to charities. I know we've got Memphis and the VG Foundation. Then yes, let's give it to them. There'll be more benefit than Sky. Well, Sky have got millions of quid. They don't need it. Why does Sky want any more money? They've got far too much money. They've got money to burn. They have. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I mean, hopefully, if not many people actually pay the £15 to them, I don't know what the figures have been. They didn't release them, did they? Last week was the first weekend, so I'm not really sure. So be interesting to see what that is. But the more people that boycott it, I think the better. And hopefully they'll have to rethink and realise that what they did last season and offer all the games available on part of the package that you've got, or some obviously to free to view as well. That's got to be the way to handle this situation, hasn't it? With no fans are in the stadium. It's the only way to do it. And it's ridiculous.
Well, there is another way, illegal streaming, but we're not allowed to do that. We can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. So, although I think there might be a few people in the world that do, but yes, I'm not pushing that one, but there is that way of going.
No, exactly. I mean, unfortunately, Sky and BT, you need to realise that they can't keep doing this and getting away with it, because I think people have had enough now. Certainly in the the circumstances in the world as well. It's not exactly people. A lot of people aren't exactly flush, are they, and want to spend another £15 on watching a game that you've already paid for, essentially. Haven't you? I mean, let's face it. The game on Sunday, our game on Sunday, would have been on normal Sky or BT, wouldn't it? It would have been one of the picked games. It normally is.
I'm not sure about that, because with both being in Europe, they would have probably picked the game. They have to pick the games 56 days or around 60 odd days before the game plays. And with the European fixtures not out, it might not have been. So because of the cup games, because of the European games, they've moved them. So it's just one of them things. But as soon as the fixtures come out, if you see your team on Thursday night in the Europa League, you've got a game's going to be Monday. Going to be Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And I suppose they've got to have them all. Like I say, the way they did it at the end of last season is got to be the way to do it going forward, hasn't it? And certainly until they can get some fans back in the ground again, which who knows when that's going to happen. Certainly in England.
I saw some figures the other day. I'm not sure how true it was. It was in the world of Twitter land, so it might be true, it might not. Only 75 people paid for the Burnley-West Brom game the other day.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, really. I mean, what was they expecting when it's a game like that? I mean, you could understand if it was Man United playing Liverpool, people would pay. They probably would.
See, you just hit the nail on the head there. The Man City-Man U derby is end of November. Off the top of my head, I can't remember when it is. I know it's November. Yeah. I bet pounds for a penny that will be a pay-per-view game.
Yeah, of course it will, because they know that people will pay for it.
Yeah. Well, I won't. I'm not paying for it.
Well, no, I'm not paying for any of them, but yeah, people will. That a game like that, people will pay for, won't they? And I suppose maybe our game on Sunday, there'll be people out there that'll be interested in wanting to watch that. I would imagine, because it's one of the big games of the weekend, isn't it? So, but it's a ridiculous situation. Hopefully, they'll get the message quite quickly that the paying punter isn't falling for it and isn't going to go along with it. And I say it's good for the charities as well. There's a few Arsenal groups are doing similar things, donating money to charity instead, which is great. But ultimately, this needs to be addressed, doesn't it? And it needs to change. It needs to go back to a system that benefits the fans, because that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about trying to compensate us for the fact that we can't go to games at the moment. And we want to watch them, don't we? You know what I mean? And another thing actually on a similar kind of track, really, maybe, is this European Super League thing that's been mentioned.
I keep every question you asking, I'm going all right. Yeah, another money-making scheme. Another money-making scheme by Man U in Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it seems to be as though there's this thing about the top six keeps coming up, doesn't it? The big six. Now, for me, you guys at Leicester have won the league more recently than half of those top six, including us, to be fair. We haven't, you've won it more recently than us as well. And yet you probably wouldn't be included in that top six. I mean, how would you feel about that? If the top six, or this original top six, if you like, branched away, I mean, it would leave you in a great position, wouldn't it, in terms of the Premier League?
Because it wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same, no.
It would ruin football completely. It would just make a mockery of the whole thing, to be honest. The Championship teams would come up. It wouldn't be a Premier League. You couldn't call it a Premier League, because it wouldn't be a Premier League without the likes of Man U, Liverpool, yourselves, if you get involved, Spurs, Man City, Chelsea. It wouldn't be included. Again, it's another money-making scheme. It's like the other week when everything got vetoed. The big picture, was it? The big picture project?
Yeah.
It all got vetoed. Man U and Liverpool wanted this, that, and the other. Yes, it would help the Championship clubs out now, but what about in 2 years' time? Are they going to keep giving the money to them all the time? It's wrong. Yeah. It was just them wanting. If they want to go, if Man U and Liverpool want to go and play in the Super League, and then they want the fans to travel and cost them a fortune to travel, they're not thinking it through. They're not going to have fans go into every game week in, week out. It's just wrong. It's just another money-making scheme. It really is. And Man U don't need them. Well, they might need it now, but Man U and Liverpool don't really need them. They've got the back. It's the owners. The owners of trying to force this through, because they're doing the same as the old NFL. If the franchise doesn't do very well, they move to another state in America.
Yeah,
it's just wrong. I'm surprised it happened. Well, it has happened, didn't it? It happened with Wimbledon, didn't it? Not such the same scale, but they moved. The owner moved to Milton Keynes, changed the name completely. So yeah, I could see that happening sooner or later, that the American owners will move to another part of the country and try and build another club there. Same as the American football.
Yeah, I mean, they did obviously were talking about, wasn't they, having an extra game played in Dubai or somewhere, wasn't they, a little while ago? And it's like, it seems to be now, without fans in the stadium, it's almost like they think they can maybe make some of these decisions at this moment in time when fans aren't there to really to be affected in a way. They probably think to themselves, you know what, if we play all the games in the European Super League, the fans are used to not going there. So what difference does it make? That's probably their way of thinking on it. But they're missing the point completely, aren't they?
Yeah, talking about fans, though, I don't think it's going to happen here soon. But have you noticed in other countries like Germany, and I think in Austria there was a few fans. Your game last night, there was a few fans there. Yeah. I know it's only a small amount, but how? I mean, what's the capacity of the Emirates now?
60,000.
So if you had 10%, you could get 6,000 people in there quite easily spread out, couldn't you?
Yeah.
At the King Power, you can get it's 32,000, 3,500 people. You could manage that. At least there'd be some kind of atmosphere. It's just gone. The the home advantage now at football grounds has gone. It really has. I don't think there is a home or an away advantage. It's so equal. That's like the games. I mean, who would have ever thought Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2?
I know.
I was happy. I was quite pleased. But who would have ever thought it? Who would have thought we'd have beaten Man City 5-2 away from home? You don't. There's some strange results. I mean, how many 3-3 draws has there been this year? There's been about 3 or 4 already. And the Burnley West Brom game was the first 0-0 game. After I don't know how many games we played. I don't know, 6 each now, so 5 each. I think so. It's a lot of games being played for 1-0 and loads of 3-3s.
Yeah, no,
but you'd have been happy with that. You'd have been happy with that 3-3 though last week, wouldn't you? The West Ham equaliser.
No, that was enjoyable. That game was quite enjoyable. The second half was quite enjoyable.
I bet you gave it a bit of a jig, didn't you, when they scored?
You've got to enjoy these moments, haven't you? Because the funny thing is, I mean, there was talk even. I mean, at one point when they were 3-0 up, Tottenham, they were second in the table. There was talk of them. Oh, maybe this is their year with Liverpool and Man City not being quite as strong, perhaps. And for them to go in and do that, concede 3 goals in 10 minutes. That's that sums up really what Tottenham are about. I mean, the year you guys won the league, Tottenham were in a big shout, wasn't they, for a lot of that season? And then they fell away at the end, didn't they?
They were never near. They were nowhere near as third in a 2-horse race. They finished.
Well, they did in the end, because they blew it at the end, didn't they? I mean, even we finished above them. That shows how
they had 15 minutes in first place.
Did they?
At the top of the table for 15 minutes. Yeah, that's they went above us for 15 minutes. Spurs did once. So. Wow.
I bet they enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, but you did us twice that year. You did us twice that year, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we did, yeah. I mean, funny enough, what I was going to talk about a bit later on, obviously that game at the Emirates that season when you were 1-0 up at half-time, wasn't you? And then was it Danny Simpson got sent off, didn't he? And then in the second half, we got that sort of last-second goal, didn't we? Danny Welbeck's header. I mean, at that time...
On Valentine's Day, wasn't it? On Valentine's Day. A lovely present it was.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought after that game that we was going to go on and win the league, actually. But that didn't last very long because I think we lost our next 2 games after that, and that was it.
Yes. That sort of spurred us on. There was a photo, wasn't there? All the Arsenal players in the changing rooms. Yeah, and it's been said that photo spurred the Leicester team on.
You didn't lose another game after that, did you?
No, we only lost 3 all season, and 2 of them were to you.
Yeah, I know, amazing,
and
really.
We still finished 10 points ahead of you, and you beat us twice.
Yeah, well, it was everyone else that we couldn't beat. That's been
the turning point. The turning point was when you beat us 5-2 at our place. Then we carried on a run there. We lost Liverpool Boxing Day, and then we had a couple of 0-0 draws after that. And we're thinking, oh, here we go, we're slipping, and then we lost to you boys again at. I was going to say Highbury then, sorry, at the Emirates, and that turned it again, and then we didn't lose again. It was we were lucky because according to form, no one was playing that well. All the top boys weren't playing that well that year. That's why we won it. You still got to beat what's in front of you, haven't you?
Well, no, I mean, and to be honest with you, this season, funnily enough, it's looking like set up to be a similar kind of season where, the favourites, if you like, are maybe not going to be as strong as in previous years, as they were the year you won the league. Man City wasn't as good, perhaps, as they had been, and all the sort of traditional challengers had maybe an off season slightly, and this season seems to be the same. And I do feel there's an opportunity for somebody, whether it's us, whether it's you guys, whether it's Everton, even Aston Villa. I mean, look what they're doing this season so far.
Not Villa, anybody but Villa.
Well, yeah, obviously, I don't suppose you'd want them to, but
Jack Grealish doing his dance now. You're all right.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be ideal, would it? I mean, I'll be amazed if Villa's form carries on, but the way the season's going, I just feel as though it's wide open this year, actually. The league and even the top 4. There's probably 9 or 10 teams potentially that could finish in the top 4, and it's going to be a battle, isn't it? A real battle, I think, for everyone. My
dark horses this year, apart from us winning it, of course, it would be Everton. I think they're going to do really well with the signings they've made. I think that's going to be and Ancelotti in charge and getting James Rodriguez from Real Madrid. Quality player. I know he hasn't had the best of times just recently, but quality player he is, and he's shown his form again. So I think Everton will be dark horses this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they've had great window, haven't they? They've bought some great players, not just Rodriguez. Obviously, he's the main one, but they've got Decore. He's a decent player. Alan's a good player. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's on fire, isn't he, at the minute, scoring goals for fun, isn't he? So, I mean, whether they're going to be consistent enough, I think their goalkeeper's a bit of a problem, if I'm honest. That might maybe,
Pickford, yes,
yeah, I think that might hold them back possibly over the whole season. But yeah, I mean, I think certainly for the top 4, I think they've got a great shout in there.
England's number 1.
Well, exactly. So. Yeah, I think we saw what he's all about last week, didn't we? In a derby.
Yeah. Let's gloss over the international team for this is Premier League. Let's not talk about internationals at the minute.
No. Oh, you're back.
There you are.
Just disappeared there. Just on Arsenal playing Leicester, really. I mean, it's been a game that I go back quite a long time, really, and I can remember quite a lot of games in the past. I mean, what's your sort of memories maybe of visits to Arsenal previously? I know you guys have a terrible record, don't you, away at Arsenal?
Oh, hold on a minute. Oh no, not yes, I don't think we've beat you there since the early 70s. I'm not 100% sure on
1973
that. I was going to say 72.
Yeah,
so it's been a long time since we've won there, and to be honest, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. It's when you get that unlucky ground. I mean, I can't remember the last time we got a point against you, let alone a win.
Last season,
was it in?
It was 1-1, wasn't it? At the end of last season.
Yes, it was. Blimey!
But that was the first time. That was the first time in 12. We'd won the previous 12. That was the first time you'd even got a draw. So yeah, I mean, it is unusual.
I couldn't. And then there was the 4-3 game, the first game of the season about 3 years ago. We were, I think, 3-1 up, were we, or 3-2? I can't remember. We were 3-something up
in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been in Spain for 16 years, and Leicester Bath, the Foxes Arms, Alcudia, and we had the Arsenal Leicester game, of course, and there was loads of Leicester fans in there, and there was a table of Arsenal fans. And they've been coming in for years, so I knew them anyway. And this little kid, Logan, when Leicester were winning 3-2, was sitting there. He was crying his eyes out with his granddad. Actually, and I thought, I daren't look at him. And then when Arsenal made it 4-3, the little bleeder ran up to me and he went, and I thought, you're joking. I couldn't believe it. This little kid, he was 6 or 7, something like that, crying. And all of a sudden, he's changed completely. And he's done me like a kipper. And I think, I went, Logan. I went, oh. But yeah, but no, we haven't had the best of times. There was when Martin O'Neill was there, we lost 6-1 at your place. And I think Stevie Walsh scored an absolutely outstanding own goal from about 30-yard volley. He lobbed the keeper.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah. And then there was the Invincible season as well. We took the lead in after about 3 minutes. Was it 3 minutes? It was early doors anyway. And then Paul Dickoff scored, and everyone thought, what's going to happen here? And then there was sorry, if I'm boring you about football, it's just coming into my head. The Dennis Bergkamp hat-trick. The Dennis Bergkamp hat-trick at Filbert Street. What a hat-trick goal that was.
Yeah. Wow, what a game that was,
Yeah, and then we scored in the last minute. Well, you scored in the last minute, and then we scored in the last minute with the Stevie Walsh header. But that was quality. I mean, we had Stevie Walsh on one of our shows, and he talked about that incident with Ian Wright, and he said he wanted to throttle him, but he didn't. He for one, Stevie Walsh, he kept it down. He just kept the peace a little bit. But when he was running off to him, giving it this, he wanted, because Wright had been giving him a bit of stick. Because Wright is a bit like that, isn't he? So, but that's my book. We've got you sort of had a bit of a hoodoo over us a few years ago when O'Neill was there, and we couldn't beat you home or away, and then. I think we beat you. Oh, this was before O'Neill. Brian Little left, and then we beat you 2-1. And it was Alan Evans. Alan Evans' only game in charge, and we beat you 2-1. And we thought, yes, that's it, great. Alan Evans left, and we just went boom. But then O'Neill, when he was here, we hardly beat you. We beat you in a cup game, if I remember, on penalties.
On penalties, that's right. Yeah.
But then we haven't had. The last few years though, we've had a bit of a hoodoo sign over here at the King Power. I think we've beat you 3 years on the trot in the league. Quite convincingly, actually. But away, got to improve that away form. I mean, I'm 50 this year, and the last time we won when I was 2, so I didn't know much about it then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I obviously can't remember that. I would have been maybe 4 or 5 at that time when last time Leicester won away at Arsenal. So it's been a long time. But the way I always look at it is, I'm always cautious because these runs always have to end at some point, don't they? They'll end one day. Leicester will win at Arsenal. There's no doubt it's going to happen. And it's just, will it be this year? Will it be next year? Will it be another 10 years? Who knows? But it's going to happen at some point, isn't it? And
it can't be 10 years. I couldn't do another 10 years of losing at Highbury. I'm losing it. I was talking to some Man City fans the other week, and I kept saying Main Road. How many years have they not been at Main Road? But
I know.
So hopefully, because our new away strip is this one, the purple one, and we've won 2 out of 2 so far in away.
Yeah.
So hopefully, are we going for the hat trick on Sunday? Then we'll have to wait and see on that one. It'd be nice, but.
I think from our point of view, the key, and we've had a comment here about it there about Jamie Vardy. To me, he scores, his goal record against us is very, very good, isn't it? I mean, I think he's pretty much every single time he's played against us, he scores. And although we end up usually winning at our ground, he still tends to score, doesn't he? So if he's playing, then to me that makes it a lot more difficult for us because we'll have to score at least twice. If he's not playing, then it may make it slightly easier. I mean, what do you think? What's the chances do you think of him playing?
Well, beginning of the week, when he played Villa, he said that he will miss the European game, but he'll be fit to. I can't remember that one. First team Leicester played at Highbury. No, I couldn't remember that. That's a bit longer.
1913 that was. That's a bit before my time as well.
I know. I know we're probably old school, Rich, but I think that's even a bit too old school for us. Where were we? Vardy. Yes, he said he should be fit for the Arsenal game. But I've had a quick look on Radio Leicester, our local sports chat, our local radio station, the Sports, and Rodgers has said in his press conference that they will keep an eye on him and see how he goes and check on him. So I think he's 50-50 at the minute, to be honest. But he is a huge loss because Nacho's not this. He does what Vardy doesn't do. If you could put them together, then he does what Vardy doesn't do. So, but we're trying to play the same way week in, week out. But we've also got Islam Samani back as well. He's back in the fold now. Big lump up top. And we keep putting crosses over. But there's nobody there. Vardy's not like him. Vardy doesn't win the ball in the air that much. So we might play 2 up top at the weekend. We might just play Nacho up top. Or we might... Rodgers does like springing surprises. He just throws one out there. Sometimes you put a Marty in against Man City. And everyone's thinking... Why Daniel Amati was playing? Why? And it was a bit negative before the game because he was playing. And he was, I wouldn't say he was outstanding, but he was like a steady Eddie, and he did really well. And so he does like throwing in the odd curveball occasionally, old Brendan Rodgers. So we might see a couple of changes because you boys probably won't be prepared for Salami to be playing because he came on against Villa, and that was his first game for 18 months. He's been out on loan.
Yeah, right.
To Newcastle, Fenerbahce, Monaco. And he's been banging in goals left, right and centre for them, but not for us. So hopefully he'll come good. Just gets his fitness a bit and we should be all right.
Okay, well, hopefully Mikel Arteta won't watch this then, and otherwise he'll know now that Slimani might play and he'll change his plans.
Don't trust me. Don't trust me. I don't know nothing. I'm just one of them fans. Just one of them fans in the stadium, well, not stadium, watching it now. We all know what's going on, but the manager doesn't seem to know what to do. But we know what to do.
Yeah, we've got quite a few of them actually as well. Yeah, that tends to be the way it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, Vardy is the key. If Vardy's playing, then we know he's going to cause us problems because he always does. I mean, what a great career he's had. To be fair, I mean, he got into football late, didn't he? A bit like Ian Wright, actually, who we mentioned a bit earlier. And to have the career that he's had has been amazing, really, hasn't it? Where he's come from, playing non-league football until he was well in his 20s, and then. I mean, the goal scoring record he's got for Leicester is amazing, isn't it? Every season he's up there, isn't he? One of the top goal scorers in the Premier League. And he
scored 108 Premiership goals now, and he's 33. Yeah. He's the oldest one to do it, but he's still got 2 or 3 years left in him. As long as you don't get injured much, he's got 2 or 3 years left in him.
He doesn't play like he's in. I mean, I suppose a bit like Aubameyang because he's obviously in his 30s as well now. And neither of them two really are playing like they're getting to the end of their career, are they? They're still almost like they're at their peak. Both of them look as though they are, certainly in the goals that they're scoring. I mean, obviously they nearly shared the golden boot last year, didn't they? There was one goal in it, wasn't there? Vardy just won it by one, didn't he? Because
one goal in it,
one goal. But, so, I mean, I'm sure they're both going to be up there again this season. And it's always nice when, I mean, obviously the last season's game at the Emirates, when it finished 1-1, they both scored. So it's nice when, the top strikers kind of shoot out against each other in a game, isn't it? It's nice to watch. So in a way, in that sense, it'd be nice if Vardy plays. But from our point of view, I'd be much happier if he doesn't, just because it make our job slightly easier, probably. I don't know.
It depends on what team we put out. I mean, it'll be roughly the same, but like I say, Brendan likes throwing a bit of a curveball in now and again. So you just don't know. And formation-wise as well. If you ask me what formation we could play up to three or four different formations. It's Brendan Rodgers likes swapping it about. He seems to play against the team instead of against the opposition, instead of keeping it the same. Most teams like to play the same, this 4-1-4-1. I mean, I'm a bit old school. Give me 4-4-2 any day of the week. Big man, small man. No one plays that anymore. No one plays it, which I much prefer that. But it's the thing. So you asked me the formation. I couldn't tell you because it changes week in, week out. There's a slight tweak in it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think maybe it's the modern way, isn't it? Obviously Brendan's a modern manager, Arteta's a modern manager, so I think it's going to be a very tactical game, and it's going to be maybe just who maybe gets the slight rubber. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to choose between us, if I'm honest. I think that when it comes to the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if we're both in a similar position in the league, battling into getting that top four. I think that's probably where we both are, actually. I do think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight game. And it's just going to be the odd one or two little bits of quality or a bit of luck either way that might decide it. And, maybe it might be, like we said before, maybe the history in terms of your record at our ground, that might come into play in the end. It might simply be a matter of that sometimes. I mean, we never win at Old Trafford. It's exactly the same. We're going to Old Trafford next week. And, no matter how badly they're playing, how well we're playing, you guarantee we won't win because we never do. And it's probably how you feel about coming to us,
Well, you did win at Old Trafford. Was it 8-2 you won there once, wasn't it?
That must have been a few years before my time.
No, not so long ago. You won 8-2, didn't you?
No, they beat us 8-2.
Oh no, that was no. Sorry, no, wrong game. Thinking of another game. Sorry, I thought somebody won 8-2 there. So I've got to stop thinking about other teams' results now. Just keep on Leicester. That's all I should do.
They beat us 8-2, which we don't want to talk about.
Oh, was that it? I thought it was you that. I thought it was the way round. Okay then.
No. We actually haven't won this since 2006 in the league. Actually, we won in the FA Cup in the meantime. So that's our kind of bogey ground in the Premier League. Although, like you said before, actually, your place has been a bit of a bogey ground in the league for us lately. I know we won in the cup there a few weeks ago, but in the league, like you said, I think three in a row we've lost, and quite heavily lost as well. We've been pretty well beaten all three times, haven't we? So hopefully this year we can maybe put an end to that run when we play there again. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot between the two sides, if I'm honest, at the moment. No. I think it's quite even, and it's just going to be. I mean, 2 draws in the league probably wouldn't be a surprise if both games finish in a draw, actually. But I'm hoping we can. I think it's important for us actually on Sunday, having lost to Man City and Liverpool already. I think if we lose again to another top 4 team that we're challenging against, I don't think that's going to be a particularly good start for us. You've already beaten Man City, so I guess you've got a little bit of an advantage there, haven't you, so far? Whereas we've lost to both teams that we've played that we're kind of battling in the top 4 so far. So I think we need to avoid a defeat on Sunday, and if we can do that, and if we can win, even better. But I think it's probably a slightly bigger game for us, maybe with where we are, perhaps. Although having said that, you've lost your last 2 in the league, haven't you? So
we've lost the last 2, but I always got away games in the Premier League. I always say 2-2. I'm happy with an away point every single time in the Premier League. If you get an away point away, win your home games. That's 4 points every 2 games. That's championship winning form. So I'll be happy with a draw. I know it sits me on the fence a lot. I'll be happy with it.
You'd be unbeaten as well if you did that all through the season.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice, but that's the way I look at things. If you go win your home, draw your away, that's decent form. So I always go for a draw. I always go for 2-2. So,
well, I mean,
but yeah, a point away from home in the Premier League, no matter where you play, it's a tough league to play. It really is. So, yeah.
It'll probably be 3-3 looking at this season, actually. It's more likely to be 3-3, isn't it?
Ridiculous, isn't it? The results are absolutely ridiculous this year. Like I said earlier, there's no home advantage anymore at all, is there? So,
no. I mean, trying to predict the score of any game actually is difficult now because literally anything can happen. It's difficult to get any game right, isn't it? I mean, this look like it's going to probably be a draw, and I'd agree. I think a draw would probably be the most likely result. So, having said that, now someone will probably win 6-1 or something stupid.
yeah, I don't think it'd be us, to be honest, but we'll see. You never know. Stranger things have happened. We won the league.
This season, anything's going to happen, I think. And again, it's just going to be one of them kind of things, really. Next thing I want to talk about was obviously that there's been quite a few players down the years that have played for obviously Arsenal and Leicester. Some have been maybe more successful at one club than the other, really. So I just want to maybe just quickly go through a few just to see whether you feel as though they were a success at Leicester, and I'll say whether they was a success at Arsenal. I mean, the first one I can remember, I will not personally remember, but I kind of know about is Frank McClintock. Obviously, he started at Leicester. And he was our double captain. So for me, he was a massive success at Arsenal. I mean, I don't know whether you remember him at Leicester or...
no. Yes and no. But the story I've got, my mum used to date him in the early 60s before she met my dad.
Wow.
Yeah, my mum and dad have both told me that she used to date Frank McClintock way back early 60s when he was first at Leicester. So, yeah. Wow. So I could have been Frank McClintock's son, but I don't think my Scottish accent wouldn't have been very good, so... But as a player, yes. From what I've seen and read about him and been told about him, yes. But I first started going down to Leicester, watching him in 1977 when he was manager. And it probably wasn't the best job for him to. I think he finished. Did he leave you and go to QPR for a season as a player?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and then he had either 1 or 2 seasons there, and then he left and he came straight to us as a manager. And it didn't work at all. They sacked him before the end of the season. I think we won 4 games back then in that year and that season, and that was when it was 2 points.
Right.
He's got a good memory.
He has got a very good memory, Marvin. Yeah, he's got a great memory. Yeah.
But yeah, so as a manager, as a player, yes. Only what I've seen. I like yourself. I never saw him playing for Leicester. It was way before my time. But as a manager, no. So, I'd say yes and no. Yes as a player, no as a manager. So, yeah, he did quite well with us.
Yeah, I mean, he might have actually played the last time Leicester won at Arsenal, actually, early 70s. He'd have probably been... It would have
been in the Arsenal team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. So, there you go. Another player, actually, who kind of moved in the opposite direction, I think, Jeff Blockley. I don't know if you remember much about him.
Yeah, he was in the Leicester team. He was a Coventry lad. No, hold on. He was a Leicester lad, but he went to Coventry. Let me get this right. He was a Leicester lad, and he went to Coventry as a youth team player. And then did he go to you and then come to us, or the other way around?
Yeah, we got him from Coventry, and in fact, he came to Arsenal almost as a replacement for Frank McClintock. Funnily enough, it never really worked for him at all. He never really made it at Arsenal. He was, again, he's not a player I can particularly remember, but from what I've heard, he wasn't particularly good. And then he moved on to Leicester, which obviously, like you said, was his hometown club. I don't know how well he did for you guys.
If I remember off the top, I'm normally pretty good with stats because he's a Leicester lad. I keep track of a lot of the stats for Leicester players and stuff like that. So he played roughly about 70-odd games for Leicester, and he was a big burly centre-half. He had big perm tash as well, a bit like a Kevin Keegan lookalike, for about 5 or 6 years before his time. I can't actually remember how he played, but I know he was a big burly centre-half. But to be honest, he was one of the players I know of him, but I couldn't tell you exactly.
Yeah.
Whether he was. He played in the Jimmy Bloomfield time. Well, they were the entertainers in the early 70s. We had John Samuels. He played for you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I was going to mention him actually. Yeah, and Peter Simpson as well. Didn't Peter Simpson go to Leicester as well?
No, not Peter Simpson. No, Brian Alderson. I think he was an Arsenal lad.
Right. Yeah.
But that was a Frank McClintock signing. Brian Alderson was. But we had players like Chris Garland, Keith Weller, Frank Worthington, Schultz in the 70s. Who was it that Graham Cross was playing then? Peter Stringfellow. Sorry, wrong club. Mike Stringfellow. So we had a decent side in the entertainer. Lenny Glover flying down the wing. Him and him and Frank Worthington used to have such a combination down there. Scored a hatful of goals. So we've had a good player, but like Jeff Blockley, I don't really know much about him. But he was there, the entertainer side. So yeah, that would have been a decent team to play in.
Oh well, perhaps he maybe done a bit better for you guys than he did for us then, because I think he's been voted one of our worst ever players. So I'm not quite. I say he's a bit before my time, but I'll have to go with the general opinion on him. I mean, another one that I can remember playing for both clubs actually is Alan Smith. I know for us he was an absolute legend. 2 golden boots, won the league for us, scored the winner in a Winners' Cup final, and of course before that he obviously started with Gary Lineker, didn't he? Partnering Gary Lineker. At Leicester. Him and
Lineker was already at the club. He's born and bred Leicester lad. Alan Smith came from Old Church. It was actually Jock Wallace's last signing before Jock Wallace left and went to Motherwell, and he wasn't. Jock Wallace says, "I'm going to put you in the reserve." The only reason I know this because he was on one of our ex-player shows a few weeks ago. So we've had him on, and he said Jock Wallace said he was going to play him in the reserves and youth team for the first year or so. Gordon Milne came in pre-season, saw him play, and says, "Right, you come and train with the first team," and that was it. And him and Lineker had a great combination for 3. Well, it was actually him, Lineker, and Linex. Them 3 up top. Yeah. 3 seasons on the trot when they got promoted, scored 50 plus goals between them. And then Lineker left, and then Smith stayed one more season. And he said he left for, I think it was 800,000. I think it was back then, which was a lot of money back then. Yeah. And of course, he literally Arsenal loaned him straight back to us. And then we actually played Arsenal in a game. I remember that game. Yeah. And he was allowed to play for Leicester. I think that was before the time. And he couldn't understand. It was weird because he had both sets of fans chanting for him. And it was strange for him to happen. But Alan Smith, great player, great striker. Should have played more for England. Should have had a bit more of a partnership with Gary Lineker. But top player, top goal scorer, top TV commentator as well. Really good all-round bloke. I think, so he was quality for us as well he was for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got his book, actually. It's a good read. I don't know whether you've read that, have you? His book. It's a good book, isn't it?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't read it yet.
No, it's a good read, actually. I recommend it. So if you get an opportunity to read it, obviously, it's a lot about his time at Leicester as well, which is good. Another striker, actually, that we mentioned a bit earlier, Paul Dickoff, of course. He didn't really make it at Arsenal, but I think he did quite well for you guys, didn't he?
You mean the pest? Yeah, it's very similar to Robbie Savage. I'd rather have him on my team than play against him.
Yeah.
And he came in the last season at Filbert Street, and he scored 6 goals. It wasn't enough to keep us up, but he came in and banged in a few goals. Did he score the last game? He scored when we played Spurs, the last game of the season. The last game at Filbert Street that season, he scored. And then Matt Piper scored the last ever league goal, and we beat Spurs. So you'd be quite happy with that one. We beat Spurs in the last ever game at Filbert Street, and he scored one of the goals. And then, of course, we got relegated, and then he banged in 20-odd goals in the first season at the King Park. Well, it was called Walker Stadium then, and he's scored 20-odd goals, got us back promoted. He stayed one more season in the Premiership, and then when we got relegated, he moved on to Blackburn, I think it was. Right. So, and then he came back a few years later under Nigel Pearson, but it was just a squad player coming on as sub now and again. His second part wasn't very good, but his first part, fantastic. It was disappointing to see him go. But when you get relegated from the Premiership, a lot of players don't want to stay, do they? So, Paul Dickoff, he didn't really do a lot at Man City, did he, as well?
No,
he moved to Man City from you. And I always remember hearing an interview with him saying his first season at Leicester, when we moved to the Walker Stadium then, was his first proper full season with the club. He'd been on loan to here and there, and he hadn't really played a proper full season with one team. So, Paul Dickoff would be a big tick in our box.
And of course, he did score that famous goal at Highbury, didn't he? That invincible season when he nearly blew it for us, didn't he? By scoring.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
He ended up running in the North Bank, didn't he? When he scored, because he
stood on the boards. Yeah. So much for not celebrating against your old team.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Leicester had won that game and he'd scored the goal, and it stops us being unbeaten that season. That would have been a bit of a strange one, wouldn't it? An ex-Arsenal player scoring the goal. Melvin's put another guy in the chat, which I'd actually forgotten about, who played for Leicester, Georgie Armstrong, at the end of his career, didn't he? He went to Leicester, didn't he?
I think that was the same time. I think that might be the bloke I was on about more than Brian Alderson. I think it was him that. Played that Frank McClintock signed.
Right, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Late 70s. It was late 70s when he left Arsenal towards the end of his career. 77, maybe 78, something like that.
Yeah.
Possibly.
If it was 77, that'd be when Frank McClintock. When Frank McClintock was in charge. I think he was bringing some of his old Arsenal buddies with him.
Right, yeah. I mean, I say obviously he was a great player for Arsenal, George Armstrong, but I'm guessing he didn't probably his best years were past him by the time he maybe moved to you guys, I would assume. And he came back to Arsenal and obviously was in our academy manager and worked at their club for many years after that as well. So obviously an Arsenal legend. Just a couple of quick defenders as well that I know played for both clubs. Matthew Upson, and another one who never quite made it at Arsenal. How did he do at Leicester? Because I kind of lost track of his career, really.
He played about 6 games. He was injured a lot of the time. Played about 6 or 7 games. Didn't do a lot, really. Scored an own goal against Everton. Other than that, he didn't do a lot at all.
He was injured for us quite a bit as well. I mean, he probably played more than 6 games for us, maybe 15, 20 possibly, but he never really made it. I wonder what happened to him, really, because I know he did move directly to Leicester from us, I think it was. And then
I think so, yeah, but he was injured in pre-season and that's it. I think he played 6 or 7 games, that was it.
And another player who didn't maybe have a great career with you guys, but was a very good Arsenal player, Martin Keown, of course, ended his career with you guys, didn't it, right at the end?
I think he came for a bit of a payday, really, last bit payday, trying to get few games under his belt, and it didn't work. Another one, I think he came in the Premiership season, and it didn't work at all, to be honest.
No.
Another one, hardly played any game, probably about 10 or 12 games. Didn't work at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think he was, obviously, again, it was the end of his career, wasn't it, by that stage? Probably similar to George Armstrong in that sense. I mean, he'd been at Arsenal for many years. I mean, great player for Arsenal. Loved the guy, but I just know he did leave for Leicester. Briefly, we've got someone from Jersey, actually, Kevin. So hello to Kevin, all the way down.
Evening, Kevin. Jersey, how are you?
Which is great. And Melvin is saying West Ham. I think he was talking about Matthew Upson. I think Matthew Upson might well have gone to West Ham, actually.
Pass.
That seems to ring a bell. I'm not quite sure.
He's quite knowledgeable, isn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's been around. He's been around a few years, like us. Is there anyone else you can think of that's maybe played for both clubs that you might have seen? Like, there's no one else I can think of off the top of my head, really.
Not off the top of my head, no. Not to be honest. Can't think of.
There's one or two that almost played for Arsenal. Mahrez, for example. Vardy, of course, as well. Talk of him joining Arsenal a few years back. Shame we didn't get either of them two. That would have been. Nice.
That would have been a shame if they'd left for us, but. Loyalty. Jamie Vardy's been so loyal. Mahrez wasn't, but Jamie Vardy's been so loyal, yeah.
Yeah, no, he has. I mean, fair play to him. I mean, I think it was it after you won the league when that move to Arsenal was being talked about, wasn't it? The season after that? I can understand why he stayed at Leicester that particular time. Obviously, you just won the league. But like you said, I mean, he's been really loyal since, hasn't he? Because I'm sure there must have been other clubs would have been interested in him, the goals he scores. I mean, you know, all the top clubs he'd get in their team, wouldn't they? I would imagine pretty much everyone. So I mean, just really sort of finishing off. I mean, I know we sort of mentioned it perhaps already. The prediction really for the game on Sunday. What I know, what you're sticking with your 2-2, are you?
Yeah, that's it. My last comment on the game would be 2 each. That's what I'm going for. 2-2. That's the draw. That's, like I say, go for the away point. Hopefully, we'll get an away point. So 2 each.
Okay. I mean,
that's my prediction.
A draw seems to be the obvious result, maybe. I mean, I'm kind of want to be optimistic and think we might win maybe 2-1. But if it was a draw, I wouldn't be 100% disappointed. I suppose it depends how the game goes, doesn't it? You know, if you're winning and then you end up drawing, you're disappointed, aren't you? Whereas if you're losing and you come back and draw, you're happy, aren't you, I guess? But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with a draw. I think in the circumstances, you know, I think it's important we don't lose. Actually, with having lost to Man City already and Liverpool. So that's that really. All I say, thanks for joining me tonight, Jay. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome, Richard.
Fantastic to get you know, obviously your great knowledge as well of your club, which is great as well, you know, to get a bit of a feeling for that as well, and you know, your thoughts on some of the big topics of the time as well that's happening at this moment in time. Just quickly, VAR, actually, what are your thoughts on that? We didn't really mention that before.
No, I'm not.
Another one.
No. Let's leave that one. That could be. along. My missus is just coming in saying we're going out in 10 minutes, so you better also VAR. I'll be here longer than 10 minutes if we're talking about VAR.
Yeah,
but no, I don't like it. Quick question: VAR, scrap it. Don't like it. Full stop.
Totally
Get
agree.
rid.
Totally agree.
Ruining the game.
Yeah.
Ruining the game.
One of many things that's ruining the game at this moment, if we're honest. One of the many things on the list. Yeah. No, so thanks for joining me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome, Richard. Anytime. Yeah,
no worries. So I'm sure we'll speak again anyway. So I'm coming on your show on Sunday anyway.
Yes,
so.
Sunday morning on the on Leicester Fan TV. If anyone wants to jump on our YouTube channel, well, we're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Let's just look on Leicester Fan TV. Do the old like, share, follow. Come and watch Richard on Sunday morning. Get some abuse from some of the Leicester fans, and see if we can get some questions for him from the Leicester fans.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's if you're up in time. It's 10 o'clock. Don't forget the clocks go back. So don't get up an hour early and start texting me saying, "Oh, aren't we on yet?" And then I'll ring you and go, "No, you're an hour early, pal."
Yeah, no, I forgot about the clocks changing. Yeah, I'll have to remember that because it's
yes, been much appreciated. Been an enjoyable chat. I do like a bit of a stato chat now and again. So yeah, been much appreciated, pal.
No, I've enjoyed it. It's been great to you. So obviously we'll speak again on Sunday anyway. I look forward to the game, obviously Sunday evening as well. Hopefully it'll be a good game, which is the main thing, isn't it? And I say maybe if we get a draw, we'll both be sort of happy, won't we?
that's if we watch it.
Well, of course, if we watch it, if we can find a way to watch it in the pub or somewhere or wherever,
without no adverts popping up, we'll be well away.
Yeah, no, exactly. But of course, we'll do our best to try to catch some of it. Anyway, I'm sure.
All right, then. Okay, brilliant. Richard, thanks a lot.
No problem at all.
Cheers, pal.
Speak again soon. Take it easy. Speak to you
See you later. Bye now.
Yeah, bye. So that was Jamie there from Leicester Fan TV. Absolute pleasure to have him on there. Obviously chatting about the game on Sunday. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up as well. I hope you enjoyed that chat there. Something a bit different for this channel, but it is something that I want to be doing a lot more of, actually. Getting some of the the fans of the other opposition, if you like, coming on the show and having a chat. So I'm going to be appearing on his show on Sunday morning as well, ahead of the game, which is Leicester Fan TV. So if you want to pop over there at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, that'll be great as well. I say, have a look at their channel as well. They do some great stuff. I know sometimes, being an Arsenal fan, sometimes we look at Fan TV and think, oh dear, that's not very good after, the one that we've got at our club, but it's totally different what they do at Leicester. It is great stuff. I've seen a lot of their videos, so definitely have check them out as well. I say real thanks to Jamie for joining me. So I've got some great stuff coming up on this channel as well. Obviously, the game on Sunday, I will be doing. I'm sure we'll have a watch along. I might be on Ryan's channel, the Mr. Arsenal podcast, for that on Sunday, and then I'll be obviously doing a video on Monday to look back on the game. Hopefully a good game. Hopefully we can get a good result as well. I agree with Jamie. I think a draw does seem to be the favourite result, actually. If I'm honest, I do think we're quite evenly matched teams. If Vardy doesn't play, that might go in our favour slightly, and we may be able to nick it if that's the case, but we'll obviously wait and see how the teams line up. And we'll go from there. And also on Monday, I will be doing my weekly Premier League review of all the games on the weekend as well. So lots coming up on the channel. So thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for the guys in the chat as well for your comments. Melvin in particular with some great comments, some great history there, and Kai as well. And of course our friend from Jersey, Kevin. So it's great for you guys to have been in as well. And I say stay tuned to the channel. Lots of stuff coming up. Please subscribe. Please like this video. And of course, as always, we like to finish, of course, the same way on this channel, don't we? Come on, you Gunners!